Hey, dear members of the Soul and Love Stories family, today we're bringing you a heartwarming rom-com tale from the snowy nights of Asheville, where a simple act of kindness brews a love that heals broken hearts. Get ready for Emily and Daniel's unforgettable journey. Let's dive into this cozy, wintry story of tea, tunes, and unexpected bonds. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a meaningful story. And please leave a comment, your city where you are watching from. Let's start. On a winter night in Asheville, North Carolina, snow fell gently outside the windows of St. Clair's Hospital, where golden lights cast a warm glow over the wooden hallways. Emily Carter, 32, pushed her cart of supplies through the wards. Her nurse's apron stained with stray pen marks, softly humming an off-key Moon River. She dropped a bottle of rubbing alcohol, its clatter piercing the quiet night. "Emily, you need sleep," she chuckled to herself, picking it up, her curly hair bouncing in a messy bun. An old radio in the hallway corner played Nat King Cole's Unforgettable, and she swayed lightly to the rhythm. Emily loved the night shift, though it sometimes left her heart hollow. Orphaned by her father young, she found solace in caring for patients, brewing ginger tea from her mother's recipe, and talking to herself as if the world were listening. "The old man in room 12 loves this tea," she murmured, setting a steaming cup by a sleeping patient's bedside. "Bet he's dreaming of ginger fields." Her smile lit up, eyes bright as the hospital's lamps. Tonight Clara, the 58-year-old head nurse, assigned Emily a new patient, the silent one in the VIP room. "Daniel Whitmore, car accident, hasn't said a word," Clara said, her tone stern but eyes kind. "Do your thing, but don't expect a reply." Emily nodded, wheeling her cart into Daniel's room. He lay there, 44, brown hair flecked with gray, deep blue eyes vacant, as if the world had stolen his voice. An old suitcase sat by the bed, a faded cassette peeking out, labeled "Still Us" in smudged ink. Emily set a cup of ginger tea on the table, its aroma filling the air. "Hi there," she said softly. "I'm Emily, expert tea brewer and terrible singer. If you don't like it, blink twice, okay?" Daniel didn't move, staring at the ceiling. Undeterred, she grabbed The Great Gatsby from a shelf and read aloud. "Gatsby believed in the green light." Her voice wavered, like she was sharing with an old friend. She scribbled a note and left it by the tea. "Blink twice if the tea's better than coffee." Then she sang Moon River, quietly, unaware that Daniel's eyes fluttered open, his hand brushing the cassette as if touching a memory. As Emily left the room, Clara watched from the hallway. "That girl's got something special," she whispered, eyes gleaming. Emily didn't hear, just pushed her cart along, muttering, "If ginger tea doesn't get a blink, I'll try cookies next." Outside, snow-blanketed Asheville, the hospital's lights twinkling, as if St. Clair were quietly unfolding a story Emily didn't yet know. A story that began not with words but with a warm cup of tea and an off-key tune. The night stretched on, each step of Emily's echoing faintly in the halls. She checked charts, refilled water pitchers, and offered smiles to patients who stirred in their sleep. Her thoughts wandered to Daniel, his silence louder than the hospital's hum. Why the cassette? Why Still Us? She didn't pry, but curiosity tugged at her. Maybe tomorrow she'd bring cookies, ginger ones to match the tea. For now she kept moving, her voice a soft thread weaving through the night, tying her to a stranger's story she'd only just begun to unravel. A week had passed since Emily Carter began caring for the silent patient at St. Clair's Hospital, and Asheville remained draped in winter's white snow. Each night, the hospital's hallways glowed with golden light, the scent of Emily's ginger tea wafting from her cart, mingling with Nat King Cole's smile crackling from an old radio. Emily, 38, wiped down tools while humming James Taylor's Fire and Rain, predictably off-key. She dropped a roll of gauze, muttering, "Emily, you're a night shift disaster." Then she laughed, her curly hair bouncing under the lights, as if sadness could never touch her. Emily noticed Daniel Whitmore, 46, in the VIP room always finished the ginger tea she left each morning, though he ignored the hospital's meal trays. "Aha, you like the tea," she whispered, eyes sparkling. Tonight she sneaked 2 butter cookies from her own stash, wrapped them in a napkin, and scribbled, No talking's fine, but don't throw these at me. She placed them by the tea, singing Moon River softly, unaware that Daniel's eyes fluttered open, his hand brushing the Still Us cassette in his suitcase, as if her voice tugged him somewhere far away. The next morning, Clara, the 68-year-old head nurse, entered Daniel's room and froze. He held Emily's note. The corner of his mouth lifted, the first smile in 3 months of silence. Clara rushed to the hallway, grabbing Emily mid-cart push. "Kid, you did what doctors couldn't." Emily blushed, waving her off. "I just talk too much. He's probably fed up." Clara's eyes twinkled. "No, it's you. Keep going." Emily fidgeted with her apron, heart buzzing like she'd heard James Taylor live. The following night, Emily brought ginger candies, a gift from Sam, a 12-year-old former patient who now dropped by with sweets. She set them by the tea, writing, "These are sweet, but tea's still better." As she sang Fire and Rain, Daniel's eyes stayed open longer, his deep blue gaze less vacant, as if her music and kindness were knocking on his heart. She didn't see, but Clara, watching from the doorway, nodded with approval. That morning, Emily stopped by Winter Brew, the cafe where she worked weekends. Maggie, the 55-year-old owner, poured coffee, teasing, "Heard you got the VIP smiling? What's in that magic tea?" Emily, red-faced, nearly spilled her cup. "Just cookies, Maggie." Clara, sipping in the corner, chimed in, "Maggie, I bet this girl gets him talking next." The three laughed, the warmth rivaling the hospital's glow. Back on night shift, Emily wheeled her cart into Daniel's room, heart pounding. She set down the tea, muttering, "If you don't like ginger candy, I'll try apple pie tomorrow." She didn't know Daniel watched her leave, clutching the cassette tighter, as if yesterday's smile was his first step toward remembering how to live. Outside, snow fell softly on Asheville, and St. Clair, with its tea and off-key songs, quietly wove a story Emily couldn't yet see, a tale of kindness and hearts beginning to open. Emily moved through the wards, checking charts, refilling pitchers, her voice a gentle thread in the night. Daniel's silence lingered in her thoughts. What was still us? She didn't ask, but hope flickered. Maybe tomorrow she'd bring pie. For now she sang, tying herself to a stranger's story unfolding, one cup at a time. 2 weeks after Daniel Whitmore's first smile, St. Clair's Hospital glowed with golden light amid Asheville's winter, snow blanketing the windows like a white quilt. Emily Carter pushed her supply cart through the halls, humming an off-key When I Fall in Love from Nat King Cole's voice on the old radio. She nearly dropped a tray of syringes, muttering, "Emily, keep singing and the patients will flee." Then she laughed, her curly hair bouncing, eyes bright as the ginger tea she brewed for Daniel. Emily had grown used to the VIP room. Each night she left Ginger's tea, butter cookies, and a playful note. "Smiled yet? If not, candy's next." Daniel remained silent, but his deep blue eyes followed her longer, his hand often grazing the Still Us cassette in his suitcase, as if Emily's kindness was untying knots in his soul. She didn't know, but Clara, the head nurse, noticed everything, smiling slyly at the empty tea trays each morning. One evening, Jenny, a new nurse from Charlotte, glanced at Daniel's chart, eyes wide. "Emily, do you know who he is? Daniel Whitmore, AI millionaire. Forbes cover for selling a billion-dollar company." Emily froze, her hand trembling, nearly spilling the tea. "Rich, really?" she asked, voice naive. "Why's he here drinking my tea, not talking?" Jenny grinned. "You don't Google? He's famous." Emily blushed, mumbling, "My phone's too old, freezes on Google." That night, Emily entered Daniel's room, heart tangled. She set down the tea, forgot the note, skipped singing, and whispered, "Sleep well, Mr. Whitmore." She turned away, feeling small, a plain nurse brewing tea for someone from another world. Daniel watched her go, hand clutching the cassette, eyes tinged with sadness. The next morning, Clara saw the untouched tea and pulled Emily aside. "Why avoid him? The money?" Emily waved her off. "Just shy, Clara. I only know tea, not millionaires." The next day, Emily returned, trying to act normal. She left tea and cookies, but as she turned, she spotted a note on the table. Daniel's slanted handwriting. "Don't stop because I have money." Emily read it, lips pursed, heartwarming. She grabbed a pen, scribbling back. Fine, but you're buying the cookies. Candy tomorrow. She sang Moon River softly, and Daniel's faint smile returned, his hand brushing the cassette as if wanting to speak. Outside her shifts, Emily visited Winter Brew, where Maggie poured coffee, teasing, "Heard you're nursing a millionaire with tea? Teach me for VIPs." Emily, red-faced, nearly knocked over her cup. "Maggie, it's just work." Sam, the young boy, burst in, handing her ginger candy. "For the quiet guy, Emily. He likes you." The cafe roared with laughter. Clara nearby said, "Emily, be yourself." "He needs that." Emily nodded, Daniel's note in her mind, her heart lighter. That night, she stood outside Daniel's room, hearing Still Us from the cassette she'd secretly played, eyes stinging at its sad melody. She vowed silently, "Mr. Whitmore, tea's cheap, but I'll brew it till you smile more." Snow fell over Asheville, whispering that St. Clair was weaving two hearts together with the simplest things, tea, notes, and an off-key song that echoed through the quiet. 3 weeks after learning Daniel Whitmore was a millionaire, St. Clair's hospital glowed with golden light in Asheville's winter, snow piling thicker outside, as if cradling silent stories. Emily Carter pushed her supply cart down the hall, singing Moon River off-key, nearly dropping a vial. "Emily, sing like that and you'll wake every patient," she teased herself, laughing, her curly hair swaying under the lights. Though she still brewed ginger tea for Daniel nightly, she no longer felt shy, thanks to his note. "Don't stop because I have money." She replied with cookies and ginger candy, scribbling, "Tea's free, but another smile costs extra." One evening, Clara, the head nurse, pulled Emily to a quiet corner, voice low. "I knew Whitmore when he played piano at Asheville's town hall, back in the 80s. Still Us. He wrote it for his love." Emily froze, picturing the faded cassette in Daniel's suitcase. She'd listened to Still Us the night before, its sad melody stinging her eyes. "His love. She's gone, isn't she?" she asked. Clara nodded. "A car accident took her, and his voice with her." Emily gripped her apron, heart heavy, but vowed silently, "I can't replace her, but I'll try." Emily borrowed Clara's old ukulele, practicing Still Us in the hallway each night, her notes clumsy but heartfelt. She whispered, "If bad singing doesn't work, maybe bad strumming will get a blink." Daniel in his room heard the ukulele, eyes welling. That melody, once his promise to his love, now echoed through Emily's trembling hands. He clutched the Still Us cassette, as if the music was pulling him from darkness. On the fourth night, Emily played Still Us, missing a beat. She stopped, muttering, "Sorry, this thing's tougher than brewing tea." Then a low, hoarse voice came from the bed. "Second part, slow it down a beat." Emily froze, nearly dropping the ukulele, and turned to Daniel. He sat up, blue eyes brighter than ever, though still scarred. She blinked, grinning wide. "You spoke. My awful playing did it, huh?" Daniel's lips curved, a real smile, small but warm as the hospital's glow in the snow. Emily, trembling, took his hand, voice thick. "I don't know her, but Moon River was my mom's favorite. I bet she'd love it, like you." Daniel nodded, voice shaky. "She loved Moon River, like you." Emily wiped her eyes, teasing, "Then I'll brew better tea tomorrow, so you'll say another sentence." She left the room, heart racing, missing Clara outside, hand on her chest, whispering, "Kid, you gave him his voice back." The next morning, Emily stopped by Winter Brew, spilling the story to Maggie, the owner. Maggie poured coffee, laughing. "What's in that tea making millionaires talk? Teach me." Sam, the young boy, chimed in, handing her ginger candy. "Emily, he'll sing with you next, right?" Emily blushed, nearly spilling her cup. "Sam, I just make tea." But she smiled, thinking of Daniel, of Still Us, and promised herself, "I'll keep bringing tea as long as he's here." Snow fell over Asheville, whispering that St. Clair was weaving two hearts together with an old melody, a cup of tea, and a voice reborn. A month after Daniel Whitmore's first words, St. Clair's hospital shimmered with golden light in Asheville's winter, snow falling softly like the town's whispers. Emily Carter pushed her supply cart, humming Moon River off-key, nearly dropping a roll of gauze. "Emily, keep singing and the doctors will fire you," she teased, but her smile faded thinking of Daniel. He'd spoken short, hoarse sentences, and each night she brought ginger tea, candy from Sam, and notes. "Say more. I'll trade apple pie." But today, Clara, the head nurse, delivered news. Whitmore's discharged tomorrow. Emily stood outside Daniel's room, heart heavy. She set down the final tea, writing, "Thanks for blinking. Find your smile." She didn't sing, just looked at him. Brown hair streaked with gray, blue eyes brighter but distant. Daniel held the Still Us cassette, handing her a note. "Thanks for the tea and you." Emily smiled, tears falling, then turned away, thinking, "He's from another world. I'm just a chatty nurse." When Daniel left, Emily took the day off, avoiding goodbyes. At Winter Brew, the cafe where she worked weekends, she wiped counters, nearly spilling milk. Maggie, the owner, teased, "Girl, your millionaire's gone and taken your soul?" Emily blushed. "Maggie, it's just weird." She kept Daniel's Still Us cassette but couldn't play it, fearing its sad melody would echo the gap between them, a poor nurse and a Forbes legend. 2 weeks later, Emily resumed night shifts, brewing ginger tea out of habit, but her heart felt empty. One evening, wiping tables at Winter Brew, Maggie shouted, "Emily, VIP alert!" Emily turned, stunned to see Daniel, in a plain gray sweater, placing a bag of ginger tea on the counter. "I couldn't play music again," he said, voice low, "until you brought it back." Emily nearly dropped a coffee mug, mumbling, "I'm just a talkative nurse." Daniel smiled. The ones who don't know their worth change someone's whole world. He invited her to a small hospital concert, his first time playing Still Us since the accident. Emily attended, clutching Sam's hand, the young boy's eyes wide. Her own eyes stung hearing the melody. Daniel glanced at her from the piano, his gaze speaking volumes. As the music stopped, Sam cheered, "Emily made him smile!" Emily cried, hugging the boy. Claire and Maggie clapped from the back, Maggie joking, "That tea's pure magic." Emily smiled, thinking, "I don't know his world, but I'll brew tea if he needs it." Snow fell over Asheville, St. Clair's lights twinkling, whispering that Emily's kindness had drawn Daniel back. Not just to music, but to her. The hospital's warmth lingered, tying them through simple gestures. A cup of tea, a scribbled note, a melody reborn. Emily didn't know what lay ahead, but as she watched Daniel play, she felt the gap between their worlds shrink, bridged by her off-key songs and a shared moment under the winter sky. A year after the hospital concert at St. Clair's, Asheville sparkled with golden lights in winter, snow drifting like notes along Main Street. Daniel Whitmore had turned a corner of town into the Still Us studio, a haven for patients healing through music, with old pianos and ukuleles lining the walls. Emily Carter, the manager, wore a simple sweater, humming Moon River off-key while wiping tables, nearly dropping a box of ginger candy. "Emily, sing again, and the students will quit," she laughed to herself, curly hair bouncing, eyes bright as the ginger tea she brewed each morning. The studio buzzed today, prepping for its grand opening. Clara, the head nurse, hung lanterns, whispering to Maggie, Winter Brew's owner, "I knew that girl would do wonders from her first tea." Sam, the young boy, darted around, handing out butter cookies, shouting, "Emily's Daniel's star!" Emily blushed, nearly spilling a tea tray, teasing, "Sam, I'm only good at spilling." Laughter filled the air, warm as the old radio playing James Taylor's "You've Got a Friend." Daniel stood by the piano, gray sweater on, no longer the distant millionaire, but a man who'd found his voice through Emily's kindness. Nervous, he touched a silver ring in his pocket, etched like the Still Us cassette he'd given her. As the opening began, he played Moon River, notes soft as falling snow. He called Emily up. "Miss Carter, sing with me." Emily trembled, mumbling, "Whitmore, I'm a terrible singer." But she grabbed the mic, voice wobbling on the first line, and the crowd roared with applause. Sam cheered, "Emily's a superstar." Amid the claps, Daniel pulled Emily to a corner, golden light glinting on a ginger teacup he held. Inside was the ring and a note. Say yes for cookies, no, and you're banned from singing. Emily froze, tears spilling, then laughed. Yes, but my tea's better. She slipped on the ring. Daniel hugged her, and they grinned as Clara, Maggie, and townsfolk cheered. Clara wiped her eyes, saying, I bet on the right girl. Maggie raised her coffee. To the woman who melted ice with tea. Later, Emily and Daniel sat in the studio, golden light bathing the Still Us cassette on the table. Emily brewed tea, muttering, Whitmore, marry me and you can't complain about bad tea. Daniel laughed, voice low. Your tea made me speak, Emily. I'll drink it forever. Outside, snow fell on Asheville, twinkling like St. Clair's whispers from a year ago. Sam ran in, handing Emily a drawing. Her Daniel, a piano, labeled Emily's home. She hugged him, knowing she'd found home. Not the hospital, but hearts that stayed. At Winter Brew, townsfolk toasted, Maggie shouting, To tea and love! Emily gazed at Daniel thinking, Thank you, Asheville, for a melody to sing forever. Snow fell, Moon River played faintly, and the Stilla studio shone. Proof that Emily's kindness had crafted a family sweeter than any song, built on tea, laughter, and a ring that promised always. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey with Emily, Daniel, and the warm lights of Asheville on the Soul and Love Stories channel. Share your thoughts about their cozy, music-filled story in the comments below. If you believe a cup of tea and a song can heal any heart, hit the like button and share this tale with your friends. To keep savoring touching and meaningful stories, subscribe to our channel and join us in spreading messages of love and warmth. Let's cherish life's simple, beautiful moments together.